I just made a move with our video game buyback website that will either be the best decision or the worst decision we have ever made. We have yet to figure it out. The reason that I bring it up right now is this our first real intake day of since expanding our catalog. We used to only buy like 1,000 of these specific titles, every single one we manually priced. But we made a decision last week to now buy literally everything. We have a price offer on every single game in existence since the NES. And when I announced this last week on this channel, people had a lot of concerns. They said, Caleb, are you sure you know what you're doing? Because this could sink you if you're not careful. And what I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update today because we're starting to see the fallout of that decision. The jury's out whether we'll be able to weather this storm, because what we just got here is our highest item batch ever. Normally, like a really big batch will be maybe 200 items that someone would ship us at one time. You can see that this batch is somebody's entire collection, specifically Brian's entire collection. So Brian, you are immortalized in history as the first one to send a full collection through myquickflips.com, and we're very grateful to you for it. You can see that the condition on this stuff is overall really solid, so we're really happy to get all this stuff in, but the vast majority of it, Lego Island 2, we've never bought before. Bruce Willis Apocalypse, never. Did you know that Bruce Willis was in a PlayStation 1 game, Spencer? PlayStation Vita games, a whole stack of PSP games, which we don't even have a shelf for those over there. We've never bought these things before. So, look at this, a whole bag of loose Game Boy. Uh-oh, okay, this is a little bit of a yellow flag. We got a lot of stickers on the back of these. That's going to be a little bit of a pain. We're out of our depth with this kind of inventory, and so we've had to create new systems to move this kind of product because a lot of this won't necessarily fit super well on Amazon. This is at least a title that we're used to seeing. Marvel Spider-Man, we buy these by the boatload, basically. But we've got steel books and special editions in here that these probably don't have Amazon listings. There's obscure games in here, like, I don't know, what's the sales rank going to be on Raiden Director's Cut? Probably not very good. So what we've had to do is design new ways to get this inventory out the door quickly, just like we've always done for Amazon. And we've had to design new systems around how do we decide what goes where. So the biggest system that we are putting into place pretty much this week is our wholesale system. We've collected wholesale bids for different price tiers of inventory. For example, $10 to $20 games. We have a flat bid price from multiple different vendors that we can just ship a box of stuff to that doesn't work for Amazon whenever we are able to fill it up. Because there are a lot of really complementary business models, like people who own physical stores or eBay stores or whatnot shops, whatever, that can really benefit from that inventory if it's at a price that works for them. I think that was the first breath that I took since starting this video. We are absolutely jazzed about this. This is did I say the total number of items in this batch, or did I just get on a rabbit trail? Brian sent us 371 items in this load, and almost all of them we have never bought before. This is a $3,000 batch, and this is not the only one that we've gotten in today. Keaton back here is processing another one. Keaton, what are you looking at here? It looks pretty mixed.
I'm looking at a lot of everything.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a lot of everything. We've got a bunch of loose discs. We've got DS games
Smarty
I've never
Pants
heard of or even seen before. We've got just things that we buy all the time.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty. Played this?
I think Keaton actually ordered that one specifically.
Don't tell Caleb.
DS is classic, but then we also do have a good amount of stuff that was previously on our hot list and still is on our hot list, like Mario Party 7, right? These we all still have manual flat offers for and still pay really well, so that I believe is still going to be the bulk of what we're getting from people. But I don't know. Look at this. Genesis games. We got Genesis Jam It and what even is this? Soul Dees? Is that what? Help me out. Sol Dees? Okay. Never even heard of these games before, and yet we're paying for them. I'm not as concerned about this batch though. Like this, we have a home for all of this stuff. We have a system for it. What I am really concerned about is this batch that we just opened up, because as you guys know, we a couple months ago implemented a partner buyer because we can't take consoles and controllers. We do not have the infrastructure in this residential basement for all of the tools and testing equipment and personnel necessary to test and refurbish consoles well. We've shrunk our scale to just doing games and handhelds for that reason. And yet, somehow, looks like Jason, through no fault of his own, through a fault in our system, was able to add both consoles and controllers and games to send to us all in the same batch. This is something that clearly happened at some point, maybe when we were doing the update, maybe there was some sort of a glitch and you could add all of it at once. I'm having the developers look at it now, because if a bunch of people were able to send us all this stuff, we'll lose a ton of money shipping it off to SOSA, and like, because we don't even have really the materials here to test this well to know if it's working. Like, obviously I can have someone plug it in and do their best, and then send it off to SOSA so that hopefully we're only out shipping. But if we don't test it super well, we send it off and they find something, then we don't even get full price. We could lose a lot of money on every batch that comes in that looks like this. So that is definitely concerning. I guess the alternative would be like, maybe we like ship this stuff on, we create a custom batch on our end and like add Jason's payment information and say, explain what's going on, but that just seems like a headache. We don't like to cause our users unnecessary headaches. So I don't know what we're gonna do with that. That is something that really could sink us if we don't solve it soon. But we have a few more batch examples over here that I wanted to share with you guys. This is just this has been a chaotic day at Quick Flips for multiple reasons. We've got painters that are upstairs. We've got the resurfacing machines running. And then we got this batch in from a regular user, Chris, which also, because of some sort of, I think he had some sort of a issue adding items to batch. It was either that price charting was down for a time, or he had some sort of a technical issue that was right around Christmas time, so he knew support wouldn't be able to resolve it for him. And as a result, most of his invoice is handwritten, which I just feel bad for Chris for having to do all of this work for us because there was some sort of a system glitch. But it also does add a good bit more processing time on our end, because we have to go through and verify these prices and make sure that they are correct on all of these different titles in this box. So Chris, thank you so much for sending us this batch. Sorry for some sort of a support issue that happened kind of at the worst time.
You have nice handwriting too.
You do have nice handwriting. Gosh, imagine if like this was illegible. We would really be up a creek. So appreciate the organization there, Chris. I wanted to show you guys a couple more batches that we used to, so like this looks like an example of a batch that is pretty much like what they used to look like. All games that we have manual prices for, and that we have gone in and said, okay, for Batman Arkham Oranges, Oranges. I want to play that game. We pay $7 specifically for this game. And that's what every single item in this batch is. Is it every single one? Yep, because we also had a price on Loose Wii Sports. Now, if someone goes in and looks up a game that we have not manually inputted a price on, like Loose BioShock on Xbox 360, or like My Sims on the Wii, or are there any complete ones? Yeah, do we buy Army of Two? Or maybe we added it recently, I can't remember. What they will see is a percentage of price charting value that we have set for games that are in that price range and that console. So you'll see different percentages of price charting value for like a CIB N64 game that's $100+ than you will for a loose 360 game that is worth like $7 on a good day, right? We can't pay the same percentage for both of those tiers of games. So that's also part of how we're trying to solve for getting in the kind of inventory that we can still move quickly and get out of this basement as fast as possible. Because if we had to switch simultaneously on the buying side to going from buying this much to buying this much, and also make a significant shift on the selling side from moving every single thing that we get as quickly as possible to now we have to figure out a storage solution and a picking, packing, and shipping method, right? Like if we were trying to also incorporate an eBay store into our sales model, I don't think this all would be possible. Wholesale, I hope, will work well for us because it sort of fits with our MO of what we've been doing all along. But you guys can probably tell from the chaos level and my stress level, frankly, I don't know if it's going to work. So stay tuned for future updates. Keep asking questions on the new model in the comments. We're really grateful for everybody, all of our users who have honestly given us really good feedback on the changes that we have made. And they're really happy that at this point there is a home for Loose Spider-Man 2 on the Xbox. And the only reason that we're able to do that is because we also have some really awesome wholesale partners that, like, maybe we're buying this for 25 cents and we're able to flip it tomorrow for 50, but in bulk so that it still makes sense to do it with our time. The last update that I wanted to give you guys, and the question I wanted to answer that a lot of people have had, is what's happening to condition guidelines? Because you guys used to be really strict with condition and only accept games that are in, for example, 8 out of 10 condition. We've loosened that slightly now that we do free recasing. So we've tried to give people a little bit more padding so we don't have to make so many deductions on every invoice, but those games do still need to be in solid shape, and most importantly, they have to be working. So we have realized in the last couple days that we have been processing batches from people that do have much more loose games. There has been a higher percentage of games that we'll get that just don't work at all when we test them. And that feels bad to make those deductions for people on those invoices, right? This game maybe was worth like 50 cents. We pop it in, it doesn't work at all. That's a full 50-cent deduction because we don't want to incentivize people to just send us a stack of completely untested games. So even though our catalog of games that we're offering on has expanded significantly, the condition guidelines as a whole are staying the same. Stay tuned for future updates on the chaos from the basement, and most of all, thank you guys for believing in us.